All right, team. Let's get going. We'll kill this. It's going to be the same class as last night, and then starting tomorrow night, we'll move on. All right, let's go next. Switch. Arm circles. Switch. Good. Side to side. Hips. Switch. Hugs. Good. Feet a little wider in shoulder width. Bend at the knees. Go down. Rock back and forth. Hands on the floor, feet apart. Break at the knees side to side, keeping your toes pointed forward. Good, one toe up. Good, walk down the middle. Hips to the floor. Roll your hips side to side. Walk back. Stretch. Down the middle. Hips to the floor. Roll side to side. Back. And down the middle. Good. Umama Plata position. Stretch out over the knee. Switch. 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 Rock up. Push those hips forward. Switch. 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 Good. Grab your hamstrings. Rock back and forth. Keep that rocking chair shape with your back. Now start to rock up on the neck a little bit. Now rock over your shoulders side to side. You should be able to come back into a seated position if you're keeping that rocking chair shape with your back. Good. Now rock back and hold, forward and straddle. Forward. Rock back and hold. Forward. Rock back and hold. And forward. All right. Shrimp. Good. Reverse shrimp. Good. Power shrimp. Reverse shrimp. Good. Now we're going to shrimp and pummel. Shrimp, and pummel, shrimp, and pummel. Come up, one arm forward, reach with your feet, pull those hips off the floor. Now we're going to power shrimp and pummel. Power shrimp, pummel. Power shrimp, pummel. Power shrimp, pummel. Come up with the other hand. Those hips off the floor. Move your hips forward. Good. All right, leg pummeling. Switch. Scissor. Good. Up, scoot backwards, alternating arms. Good. This time, double back. Good. Forward, alternate. Good. Double back. Good. Forward, alternate. Good. All right. Bumps. Just side to side, kind of get your hips up in the air. Stretch out that arm a little bit. Now we're going to bump and tuck the elbow. Come up to our feet. Okay? Sit back down. We're gonna bump the other side, tuck the elbow. Get back to our feet. That's it. Bump, tuck, to your feet. That's it. Bump, tuck, to your knees, and sit. Now bump and roll. Hook right arm, hook right leg, head pendulums left. Bump over my shoulder to my knees. Sit. Left arm hooks, left leg hooks. Head pendulums right, bumping over my left shoulder to my knees. Right arm, right leg, head goes left, bump. Left arm, left leg, head goes right, bump. Good, armbar defense. Getting our shoulders off the mat and onto the head this time. We're taking my right arm. I go up, my thumb goes out like I'm hitchhiking. Up, out, onto my shoulder, and over. Left arm. Heads up, arms out, thumbs out over my right shoulder. Right arm. Left arm. Good. All right, let's work this shoulder roll from guard position, okay? Somebody's kind of loosely wrapped around our body. We have a chance to roll back into guard here. We're going to do our shoulder to shoulder roll. So if they're on the right side of my body, my right arm is shooting through, my left leg is coming up. I go shoulder to shoulder and sit. They're on my left side. My right leg puffs up. My left arm comes underneath. I go shoulder to shoulder and sit. Do that each side. One more time. Just like a Granby roll from the knees. All right. Now all fours covered, right? I'm gonna pop up, sit out, and turn. Go the other way. Pop up, sit out, turn. Back to the original side. Good. Now from all fours, right? I'm gonna pop up, sit through, and turn. Pop up, sit, and turn. Pop up, sit, turn. Pop up, sit, and turn. Now I need a little more space, so I'm gonna get my knees off the floor. Be careful not to get your butt and your hips too far back, okay? Because I don't want to sit through and have my leg come this way, right? So I want to be in this position here, sitting through like this. So my leg's coming forward at a 45-degree angle as I sit through. Good. All right, let's go on that Granby roll. So we're up, foot crosses, shoulder to shoulder roll, and face my opponent. Other side. Weak. Good. Standing in base. Up. 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 To the knees. Or to one knee, I should say. Good. Switch sides. Up. 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 One knee down. Up. 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 Good. Lay on your back. We're going to bump. Underhook. Bump again to free the head. Switch our feet. Come up to the knees. Good. We're going to go ahead and add that sit out where we're up on the single leg. So the leg sprawling away. My head rolls out. My foot pops up. My hips come through. Do it to the other side. Bump, underhook, bump, free my head. Switch my feet. I'm up on the single leg. My head comes out, my foot comes up, my hips come through. Back to the original side. Bump, underhook, bump and free my head. Switch my feet. Single leg. Head comes out, leg comes up, hips come through. One more time. Bump, underhook. Bump to free my head, switch my feet, single leg. Head comes out, leg comes up, hips come through. Good. All right, now we're going to do front headlock position. Okay, sitting to guard. All right, so I'm here. The arm is over the left side of my neck. All right, so I'm going to post my left foot out and start to swivel my feet a little bit. This inside foot comes up. My head comes to the mat, comes back, connects close to my knee, and I sit. Sit. Good. Keep going. Sit. And sit. Good. Forward roll. Leg lock attack. All right, let's do it. We all should know this. Reaching across my body. Shoulder rolling through. Go 2 times each side. Good, we're done with that. All right, let's do our high leg spin. Rolling over our right shoulder, left foot hits the ground, sitting through. Roll over your left shoulder. Right foot hits the ground, spin through. Do that twice each side. Good. Okay, this time we're going to add the reverse shrimp at the beginning of that. Remember, I have somebody in side control. I can't get out. I kind of want to put them in the north-south position, which is where we usually use that high leg spin. We're going to be like forearms inside the chest, right, rolling up over the shoulder, hooking this foot over the head, and spinning through, okay? If they're in side control and we want to get to north-south, we can use our reverse shrimp. So if he's here on this side, I'm shrimping out. I'm building this frame with my forearms, right? I'm rolling up over my shoulder, bringing my leg over, touching it to the floor, coming here, okay? My reverse shrimp with my right leg out. I'm going to scoot this way, okay? That means I'm going to be rolling over my left shoulder, my right shoulder as I go here, right? So I'm right, okay, their body's here. I'm continuing to roll to put me in that full north-south. My left leg touches the floor, and I'm here. I'm using my left leg to shrimp. A reverse shrimp, right? I'm up like this, okay? I'm rolling up and going. Good job. Okay, inside leg stand up. Somebody is body lock from behind on turtle. We want to stand up because we like our chances standing up and taking them down better than we do being in the turtle position or potentially going into guard. All right. So they're on my right side. I'm standing up with my right leg, elbow in, right? Hand fighting, keeping the hooks coming in, stuffing their hand in my pocket, and turning and facing. On my left side, it's just the opposite. Left leg up, elbow in, hand fighting, stuffing the hand in my pocket, turning and facing. Let's go, let's do that twice each side. Good. All right, now dog peeing on a fire hydrant. Okay? We're here. Maybe they have seatbelt on us. All right? We're going to raise up our knee, our inside knee. We can put it on the hip or we can simply just raise it up. We can put it on the hip to get some space. Slide this leg through into guard. Okay, I want you to do that 2 times each side and then do the swivel variation, where you're swiveling your feet out to get some space, raising that knee up, bringing the inside hip through, and sitting to guard. Good. All right. Now let's do the rolling variation where maybe they're a little too tight. We can't get that inside leg up, but they have their seatbelt on. We have the opportunity to hook their arm. Okay. We're going to take our elbow and hook their wrist, bringing my elbow across the midline of my chest, right? Swiveling my feet and rolling through to side control. On the opposite side. Here, I'm trapping, right? I'm swiveling my feet, rolling through to side control. Okay, bonus moves. Armando, come here. So sometimes when we hit that roll, we have the opportunity, or sometimes they'll keep their seatbelt grip, right, as they roll over. So here, Armando's on my left side. So I'm taking my elbow and I'm gripping his wrist here, right? I'm not doing this or this, okay? The elbow is gripping the wrist so I can bring the elbow through, okay? Now, sometimes as we roll, he keeps his seatbelt on. Go ahead and grab that seatbelt, right? When we roll, and they keep the seatbelt on and you're up here like this, okay? All I do from here is I take this hand and block his inside hip, and I start working my hips back to him. I block here, right? And I eventually start to turn. Okay, we'll scoot a little further this way so you can see it. Sometimes I bring this up just because it gets a little confusing when you're there. You're not really sure which way to scramble. Okay, so it can be a bottleneck for you and create a little confusion. You're usually going to end up on top no matter which way you go, but this is the safest way I found. So they've got their seatbelt on. They don't let go of it, right? I roll them through. You're like this. I'm stuck in this position. Okay, he's holding on tight. He's trying to pull me back, right? He's going to be trying to get this knee in eventually. Okay, I'm going to scoop my hips back toward his shoulders. It starts to break his grip a little bit. I'm going to take this hand and block the inside hip. Then I'm going to turn my body down and keep walking toward his arm here. See how his arm is nice and high? He may be trying to trap this arm still and keep this arm in place. Okay, that's fine. I'm going to be able to pull that out and come into a good side control position. If you have a partner, go ahead and work through that with your partner. If you don't, just use your imaginary friend. The opposite side. Yeah. The side where they have the arm under your armpit. I can't see you guys though.
Too good. Just got hurt on me.
All right. The other thing that people will try to do there, and it's a good idea if you ever feel anybody doing this for you, is to hop over and take the back. So sometimes even if I'm here, right, you can still hook this arm. If I've got the seatbelt, you can hook the arm, all right, no matter what. Okay. Now sometimes as they start to roll, as I feel you start to roll, I can hop over for the back take. Okay. It's one of the dangers of this move is if somebody times that back take really well, they can hop over. So what I do then is I'm just mindful of the hooks. Okay, if I feel him start to go with me, right, and he's going early, I'm just mindful of getting the hooks in, right? I try to stay pinned and keep this leg pinned, okay? Because he wants to roll with me all the way through to the other side. So he wants this. He wants to jump over, roll, hook in, top hook in, okay? So as I feel that roll coming, right, I plant my hips down here on this near side. If I just blindly keep rolling, he's going to roll. I fight this hook off, and then it's the same thing from here. Walking the hips out and back. So when you feel somebody roll, don't just keep the momentum going. Try to stop and trap their leg and get your back to the mat. Okay? Need to see it again? All right. I'm sure you got it mastered. Let's do it. Play around with it. Yeah, you be careful with that. It's sneaky.
My partner's not very good at putting their hooks in.
No, I guarantee. Yeah, I see that. It's a little floppy. He needs some Pilates. That's what happens if you get too much yoga. Not enough Pilates. After the sessions, tell me, man, he's building that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and it's something I totally neglected. You know, I wasn't forced to do. You know,
That's like when I first started doing jiu-jitsu, I used to shadow wrestle like before class.
Yeah, yeah.
I stopped doing.
I know, it's easy to do. All right. Standing posture from guard, right? Somebody's got a closed guard on me. I don't want to shift my weight forward because if I do, they pull me down and my hands hit the floor. I want to shift my weight to the right if I'm going to step on my left leg, so that way my chest doesn't come forward, okay? If I do this to take the weight off, my chest comes forward, they pull me down, I don't really get my foot up. So I'm shifting and stepping out, all right? Those of you who've ever taken one of my classes where I talk about pushing out the lower back, that really helps too because it connects your hips and your spine together, right? And they have to pull your hips up over your knees to get you to break down. A lot of times if our hips and our spine aren't connected here, I bend here like this, right? If I push out my lower back, it's another bonus move. You can't really see it though, it's hard on video. But if I push out my lower back, now my hinge doesn't work here. I don't bend just like this. right? They have to get me up all the way over my knees to take me down. So it makes me very, very difficult to move. Extremely difficult. All right? Armando, come here. Close guard. He's got me locked up. Okay. If I just arch my back and look to the ceiling, which is mostly what you're taught, it's kind of the easiest way to show posture. The problem with an arch in the back is it creates a hinge in the hips. So when Armando grabs my head and starts to pull me down, if my arms aren't holding here, I'm going to collapse. So we end up using our arms to brace a lot. Okay. The good thing about that is I'm not collapsed yet. The bad thing about that is that I can't use my arms for anything else except for to counter him. And I'm wasting more energy. As soon as I remove my arms and he's pulling, I fall down like that. Okay. When I push my lower back out, it kind of looks like bad posture. But now when not only does it put more pressure on the back of his feet, but when he reaches up and grabs to pull me down, it's much more difficult. And I can use my arms for other things, like removing a grip, comfortably moving my body. Okay? This is a hard concept to get on video, but I'm going to do my best here. Okay? This is what an arched back looks like. This is where you're going to hinge at your hips. You see my back, how it bows in a little bit? You see how I push my lower back out? My tailbone and hips kind of rotate down. Okay, it connects my hips and my spine a lot more. If somebody's pushing and pulling me here, I've got to use my arms to resist. If somebody's pushing and pulling me here, this gives me enough support that I just use my hands to check their body, and I can use my hands to do other things like break lapel grips, break head grips, right? Swim inside with my arms. Okay, it's just a much more comfortable position, and I'm not using as much energy. Okay, so it's the difference between this and this. Got it? Just play around with that. If you got a partner, try it both ways. Try it with the arch and have them pull your head down. Try it with the bow in the back, the low back, and have them pull the head down. That makes sense, Alexa? Do you feel it? Can you feel the difference? Good. Okay. That's a big time bonus move. Like that one, if you can remember to do it, it's going to help you tremendously keeping your posture in that close guard. All right. Okay. So now let's work on the stand. I'll always bow that back out, right? I'll shift my hips. Now remember, if the guard is closed, I can have my knees nice and tight. Because if my back is bowed like that, they have further to pull me to get me over my knees. So even if I lose my balance a little bit, I can check with my hands and settle back. If my knees are wide, right, even if my back is pushed out, it's harder for them to pull me down, but they don't have to move me as far until I collapse. Does that make sense? Okay. So I like my knees nice and tight when they have a closed guard. I open my knees wide once they open the guard. Okay. So I'm here, right? I'm shifting. I'm stepping, right? I'm swiveling into a lunge position, stepping up, posture up, shoulders behind or at the hip level. Good. Let's do it again. Do that 2 times on each side. You see the flows that John sent me that I posted. basically some movement drills that he does. Okay. All right, good. Now, same thing. It's just once we stand, we're going to do kick, kick, right? Kicking forward, out and around, kicking forward, out and around. So we're standing, up, kick, kick. Let's do that twice each side. Should come to your email too. Good, are we good? All right, let's do matrix. Now, the matrix, if you don't bump your hips forward in front of his hips, your opponent's hips, it's not gonna work. You're still gonna get swept. So it's gonna feel like you're bumping your hips too far forward, all right? We're basically trying to sit on his hamstrings. So he's got me locked up here, right? I do my shift, and I do my stand, and he goes here like this. If I just kind of bump my hips like this, push Armando, I'm still gonna fall backwards. So I really need to throw my hips forward. Once I stand up and I feel him release, I throw them forward, right? And move those arms, okay? Because I'm sitting, you see how my hips are past his hips? I've got to be here if I want to do this technique. Then I work my pass from here. So if you're trying the matrix and you're having trouble with it, it's because you're not, like, think about like throwing your hips toward their head, okay? Let's do that. Twice on each side. Nice matrix carry.
Don't know if I'm supposed to, but since there's nobody there, it just seemed like I fall to my knees if I push forward.
Yeah, you will fall to your knees without them there. Yep, that's good. If you're not falling to your knees, you're not going far enough. Yep. It's like you're praying to jiu-jitsu in me. Throwing yourself on your knees. I get it. I get it. All right. We're going to do the footwork drills for guard passing. All right. Toreando pass. 45-degree angle step forward with my right leg. Pushing with my right hand. Right. Pivoting here. Then I'm going to do a shoulder step to knee on belly. Okay. Left leg. Push full. Knee on belly. All right, now question mark. Okay, I'm here. I'm stepping laterally, not at a 45-degree angle forward. I'm stepping laterally, question marking around, knee on belly. I'm sorry? They're more in a sitting guard. I'll review that. They can actually be both for that one, Ashley. All right, so that first option, the Toreando, this is when they're in a prone position, right? So go ahead and lay down, Armando. So he's laying down like this. I've got the pant grips if I have pants. If not, I have the knees, or even sometimes I can use the ankle, okay? Right, I'm 45, pushing that through, knee on belly, okay? 45, pushing that through. See, I have to bring this leg back and swivel my hips, because if I just step forward, I'm going to push his leg through into mine. Does that make sense? So I'm here, getting that leg out of the way. Knee on belly, shoulder step. I'm here, getting my leg out of the way, knee on belly, shoulder step. Okay? The second one, the question mark, can be used whether he's prone or seated. Right? I can come here, throw the knees to one side, step, and go. Okay? Or if he's seated, right, I like to place a hand on the shoulder on the opposite side I'm going. So if I'm going to my right, I put my left hand on their shoulder, I step, push, and come around. Okay? So question mark can work either way. The Toreando is usually when they're on their back. All right? If you have a partner, feel free to play around with that. Dude, I ran a mile on Saturday. But it's good to do things like that on occasion if you want to do like, but you're not in shape for everything. Also, reminds me that sometimes I can rely on my too much in jiu-jitsu, and my conditioning can be slipping, so I can roll for 40 minutes and not care. And it's a moderate workout, but if I run for 10, dying. All right, so here we go, stance and footwork, okay? Wrestling stance, squared stance is more defensive. I always want my head at the level of my opponents or below, okay? Staggered stance is more offensive. I'm reaching with my backhand, using my front hand to cover my lead leg. All right, so let's switch back and forth between those stances. Good, make sure you're reaching. Switch and reach. Good. You can circle, go from your staggered stance to your squared stance, back to staggered. Okay, move your feet. Good. Good. Now we're going to add that down block, which is this lead leg. Lead hand touches the floor. Okay, so go ahead and get back in your stance, right? And then throw that down block in there. Good. Stagger that stance. Throw that down block in. Good. Now we're going to add that kind of a, I'll call it a non-committal sprawl, right? So we use the down block in case they're faking. That way we don't full on sprawl and get stuck on bottom turtle. All right. We can also use a sprawl where we're moving our legs away, but we're more like circling to our knees and potentially getting up. Remember to continue to circle once your knees hit the floor. Okay. Unless they have the leg, of course, then you can go into a full sprawl. This is nice. Come here, Armando. This is nice again in case I fall for one of his fakes. All right. So if I'm here and he's faking and I go like full on sprawl into nothing, now I've got real problems. Okay. He can tie me up. I got problems. All right. This time if he fakes, right, and I'm here, I'm kind of circling away from him as I sprawl at the same time. Okay. So let's go stance, down block, and we'll call it a half sprawl for lack of a better term. Make sure that you're not standing up forward, that you're continuing to circle before you stand. Good. Now let's add the full sprawl. Okay. Leg forward is moving back. I like to shoot my hands down. I like to shoot my hips to the floor. Okay. I'm not really sure if this is better or not, but the way I like to do it is a lot of people, you'll see them sprawl and their hip will hit the floor, right? And they bounce back up and they kind of point that toe at the end. So the in landing like this on like a pointed toe. Okay. I like to keep my toes engaged in the mat. Okay, so when I'm here and I sprawl, I like to be back like this with that hip low, with that toe engaged in the mat. I just feel like I've got something to push off on and I can circle a little easier out of that. Okay, so your full sprawl, again, lead leg shoots back, here like this. Right, circling, I'm coming up. I'll use this when he's a little deeper than I like, right? Maybe I didn't catch the sprawl early enough. I can't down block. It's too late for me just to kind of circle away from on my knees. Okay, he puts in a nice fake. He's getting down there on my legs. That's when I'll use my full sprawl. Trying to keep my shoulder weight more on his neck. I don't want it on his back because that's when he can sit out super easily. Okay, so I'm trying to keep my shoulder weight down here more on the neck area. All right? All right, let's add that to the mix. Stance, down block, half sprawl, full sprawl. Okay. Now, just like we talked about last night, when I shoot, it's very important that I level change, okay? So many people will take a step here and then they'll drop this knee all the way down to the floor from here. That's a really hard impact, okay? You should be able to, it's not gonna be comfortable, but you should be able to do this safely on concrete if you needed to, right? So when I hit my level change, I'm super low. So my knee just kind of glides more across the ground than it does slamming into it. All right? So we're here, right? Super low, shooting through. Okay? Just try that a few times before we move on. Good. All right. The other big mistake that I see is people reach. Okay, there's a couple reasons they reach. One is bad technique. The other one is that they're shooting too far away from their opponent. Okay, so if Armando's here and I go to take a shot, whether it's a single leg or double leg, if I'm too far away from him, my chest is going to be going forward, right? I'm going to step, level change, I'm going to end up like this. And now I've got problems. Okay, I'd rather not be in that position. So I like, it's a general rule for me, I know this doesn't always apply, but I like to think about shooting at a distance where I can touch him and my arm is slightly bent. Okay? So now when I shoot and I come down, I'm able to keep my posture up here like this, right? I'm not extended like this. Okay, so that his weight can put me down. I'm up nice like this. This allows me to drive off the leg into his body and pick up that single. Okay, it also allows me, if he does start to put some pressure on me, right, it allows me to switch to my double here or back to my single on the other side. Keep in posture. Okay, so when you work this with a partner or without, what I want you to do is stay in range. Okay, come down on this single here like this. Okay, my head's gonna roll outside. I'm going to shift to my double. So this knee, my left knee is going to go to the floor. My head goes outside. My right leg is up. Okay. Now if I shift to my single, right, I'm posting my outside leg up. My right knee goes down. And I can come back the other way, keeping my posture the whole time. Okay. If I'm doing it alone, it looks a little bit more like this. Okay. All right. All right, let's try it. That's the one I really want to ask you about, like those transitions there. That's out of my area of expertise. What are you usually doing? Did you do that as a drill ever, or?
But I mean, yeah, it's just like if you're starting to sprawl, especially out here, then you're switching here.
Right. Basically going high crotch double.
Yeah. As far as going over to the other side, I do like the
You probably wouldn't unless I step this leg back, right? Yeah.
Turning stuff down.
All right, time. Any questions? All right, good deal. Don't forget, we're having a happy hour this Friday at 6. So come join us, bring your juice.
Okay.
All right? Carry your frozen.
I'm frozen.
Oh, there you go. See you now. All right, cool. Have a great day. Yes, take those pictures. Tag us.
Yes.
Carrie's going to beat you, Ashley. You need proof.
I already got my proof. I took like 3.
Whoa. Well, only one a day counts. All right, bye, y'all.
Bye, Lena.